Boom! Yes, folks, how are you going? Hume again. So we're in that season. It's that time of the year. Well, that time of the every 5 years, right? When the whole country does get excited. When most of the whole country does get excited. Because we have a stubborn 1/3 of the country that refuse to demonstrate any kind of excitement at all for the elections. But that's a different discussion, right? Before I say anything else, let me just discuss the color of my jersey in this video, right? Normally we do discuss them. That's important, right? The color of the jersey is a non-issue. However, as most of you all know, people who would have been accustomed to seeing my videos over the years, I usually wear a red top when I deal with my maths videos, right? But of course, being in election season 1 and 2, doing a series of videos where we will essentially be discussing election results, interpreting certain figures, and making certain kinds of projections for 2020. Alright? You want as much as possible to not be perceived as somebody who's spinning the figures. Now, of course, you can make all the best efforts and people can still choose to believe what they want to believe, and that is fine. But I will do my part. Right? So the first thing I will do is not wear the red jersey once I'm talking about anything related to politics. When I do my normal maths videos, trigonometry and Pythagoras theorem and straight lines and them things, yeah, red jersey in all the tail. But once we're talking about election results, PNM and UNC and this and that, no. We try to be civil, we try to be respectable, we try to be nice. Right? So we take away the red jersey out of that picture and we wear a different color. No red, no yellow, because we know what those colors mean in terms of the elections in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? And the next thing I will do is declare my own bias up front. So I am not even coming here to pretend to be politically neutral, because I am not politically neutral. Alright? I have always been a supporter of the People's National Movement, and that hasn't changed up to the filming of this video, right? However, in my in my professional capacity, as somebody who dealing with numbers, as somebody who teaching mathematics, there's absolutely no room for, well, he's a PNM, so you can say that, no, nonsense, right? We analyze figures and we try as much as possible to be truthful. And there may be instances where we might discuss certain things and make certain kinds of projections where people might say, well, he leaning one way, so he will see it like that. Another person might see the same set of figures and see something else. That is fine too, because at the end of the day, the figures are easily available. They're in the public domain thanks to the EBC website. And let us say a special big up to the Elections and Boundaries Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. Independent organization, not beholden to any political party. And that is the spirit in which I will be doing these maths videos. Sorry, these electoral videos, right? Where we're talking about elections and things. I'm doing it in the spirit of independence, in the spirit of not trying to campaign or support any political party. Alright? We're just talking numbers. We're talking numbers, trends that you could discern with numbers, and any kinds of projections that we make will be based on some kind of mathematical principle. Yes, there will be times when we will say, alright, well, common sense will suggest so and so and so. We will say, well, alright, the sentiment on the ground seems to be so and so and so. But in making those statements, we will always leave room for doubt, and at the end of the day, no matter what we do and no matter what we say and all the analyses and projections and common sense and speculations, there is still a certain level of what if, a certain level of we don't know what could happen. So we had to keep all these things balanced in line. But as I said, I would be declaring my own bias up front. But in saying that, I'm not here to campaign for or on behalf of anybody. Right, so with that out of the way, and with the red jersey taken out of the picture, let us now get to the business of discussing the figures, right? You know, everybody always have an interest in these things. And one of the things I'm doing here is to take some of the kinds of analyses that political parties do. The PNM have their people doing it, and the UNC have their people doing it. And there will be other people who will be doing it independently. Take it and bring it to the public at large. So you get a sense of how we think about these things, how we discuss these things. And we try as much as possible to base the discussion on something that we could work with. We're not just talking off our feelings or emotions or what we want or what we like or what we don't want or what we don't like. So the first discussion I want to have is the discussion of marginal seats. Because anytime we talk in democracy anywhere in the world, there's always safe seats on both sides of the fence. And then there would be these seats in the middle, these marginal seats that could go anyway. Alright? So for the simple purposes of definition, I would define a marginal seat as a seat that would have changed hands at least once within the last 3 electoral cycles, the last 3 general electoral cycles. Why did I choose the last 3 general elections? Simply because 2007 was the first general election where we had 41 seats. So before that we would have had 36 seats. 2007 we had 41 seats, 39 in Trinidad, 2 in Tobago. So we're using the figures from 2007, 2010 and 2015. And based on that, the definition of marginal, we're starting out from the point that if a seat would have changed hands at least once in those 3 electoral cycles, we will classify that as a marginal seat. Now, by that definition, I have 14 seats here, having gone through some of the EBC figures. Alright, we have Arima, we have Barataria, we have Shogunas East, Dabadiomera, Lahokita, Lupino, Bonnet West, I think. Right, I wrote these seats in a kind of shorthand here. Pointe-a-Pierre, Moruga, Tableland, San Fernando West, St. Joseph, Tobago East, Tobago West, Toko, Sangre Grande, and Tunapuna. Right? Now, of course, within that list, there may be some that we could say, alright, nah, that's looking more like a PNM seat, or nah, that's looking more like a UNC seat. And that is fine. But what we will do is dig into these 14 constituencies, look at the figures, play around with them, check out any patterns and see if we could discern anything that would be worthy of mention, just as general knowledge, general education, right, so that we could inform the public of what's going on. Alright, so we flip from marginal to safe seats. We have 14 marginal seats based on the results of the last 3 general elections. 41 seats, 41 constituencies. Which means that on each side we have what we refer to as safe seats. And the safe seats would be the seats that did not change hands at all over those 3 electoral cycles. Alright? So on the PNM side we have 12 safe seats, and on the UNC side we have 15 safe seats. So on the PNM side we have Aruka, we have Diego Martin Central, Diego Martin Northeast, Diego Martin West, Labre, Laventille East, Laventille East Mova, Laventille West, Point Fortin, Port of Spain North, Port of Spain South, San Fernando East, and St. Anne's East. Something, I think. I wouldn't always get the full name of the seat. On the UNC side, we have Carney Central, Carney East, Shogunas West, Cuba North, Cuba South, Komoto Manzanella, Faizabad, Mearo, Naparima, Urupuch East, Urupuch West, Princestown, Siparia, St. Augustine, and Tabaki. So if we starting out from marginal versus non-marginal, based on the strict numerical definition of a marginal seat being a seat that would have changed hands at least once over the last 3 numerical cycles, then the PNM is starting off with 12 safe seats and the UNC is starting off with 15 safe seats. So based on the strict numerical definition of marginal, we have 14 toss-ups, so to speak. Right, 14 seats that more or less would decide the results of the 2020 general elections. So we're starting off with 15 for the UNC, 12 for the PNM, that is safe seats, and the 14 will make the difference. Of course, we know that basically you're looking at, you have to get at least 21 seats to win. All right. So based on this preliminary tabulation, at 15 safe seats, the UNC only needs to get 6 out of the remaining 14 to win the election. All right. 6 out of the remaining 14. 15 and 6 is 21. At 12 safe seats, the PNM would need to get 9 of the remaining 14 to win the general election. So from a strict numerical standpoint in terms of seats, based on this kind of definition, the PNM would seem to be starting off on the back foot. Now, of course, we know that the PNM is in government now, but that may not necessarily, that of and by itself, from a strict numerical standpoint, is not a guarantee of anything. All right, and this is where the non-mathematical factors enter the picture now. How do people feel about the government? All right, how do people feel? If people happy, if people contented, if people satisfied. All right, we don't want to talk about them things too much, but of course we must mention them, because the numbers do just come out of space. The numbers are driven by something, some kind of emotional, non-mathematical factor is what produces the numbers in black and white at the end of the day. Good. So we're going to wrap up this video now. In the next video in this series, we're going to delve further into these 14 seats, and we will kind of play with some of these seats that we could take out of the picture. So there may be some seats that we could reliably say, nah, I feel like going back to the PNM, or I feel like going back to the UNC. So those are the seats that we will kind of look at first to kind of take them out of the picture, and then as we go further and further into the marginal seats, we start to get into the seats that we really ain't sure what could happen. Right? We have a feeling that it could go any way. Right? So we go from one thing to the next, and along the way we'll be discussing a whole set of other options. Right? Numbers always tell a fascinating story, and just going through the EBC thing there, I saw a whole set of things that I wasn't really thinking about before, but I don't want to give away everything now. Just keep in touch and you'll see what happened. So while we are at it, you know, I must make a plug for my maths. All right. Those of you who doing CXC exams in January, maths, right? You would see this thing at the bottom of the screen, the road to January. All right, that is my online platform where I have videos set up. We basically out of the gate now. The horse has bolted the stable in terms of we start already. All right, so this week coming up here, we're doing Pythagoras theorem. The following week is trigonometry. The whole point is that once we do certain topics by a certain time, we're not coming back to do them things again. So in other words, if you come to me in November or October, don't expect me to be going through algebra and factorization and ratio and percentages. No. Right? I put in everything there, so even if you choose to come in late, you have the option to go back and fall in. Of course, the better thing is to fall in now, so that they keep pace with us and we take a serious approach to preparing for the January exam. We don't want to wait until September or October to start preparing for the January exam. All right, those of you who intend to write the January exam, start looking for your teachers and things. No, I'm talking about private students. I'm talking about students who in Form 4, and of course for the students who in Form 5 now, who some of them will be writing the July exam and some of them would be skipping the July exam to do the exam in January. Right? You all might want to take a little rest, while the July exams finish for CSEC. As soon as that's done, take about a week and we roll in again. All right? So check the website, $500 a month, and we have something coming up for the people in AdMaths too. but I will give all the more details on that later. Good? So, thanks for being with us. Look out for more. We have some more videos coming in this series of political discussions where we're talking about elections and election figures, etc., etc. All right? So, keep good, spread the word, and look out for more.